All right, welcome to the BigCheese Podcast. I am here today. It is January 15th, 2026. It's a new year. It's our first pod of the year. Brandon?
Yes, season
4.2.
Season 5.
Season 5.
Season 5. We're starting a new season, and what we're going to do with this season, which what we did a couple seasons back, is we have guests. And today
we have special reveal, Tim Hickle.
Boom, 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 boom.
What's going on, guys? How we doing today?
It's good to see you, man.
Good to be here, man.
Yes. So, a lot's been going on in the world, the AI space.
Well, hold on, before you jump right in.
What are we jumping in? Okay.
You're jumping right in.
Okay.
Tim was in. You were one of our first guests.
Yes.
When we were at the Wesleyan.
We were at Wesleyan
University, where we first had our podcast, and
I think he was our first guest.
I think he might have been our first guest.
It only took us like 3 times for it to actually record.
But for most of the people that don't know me or Brandon, but definitely for the people that don't know you, you're in marketing extraordinaire in this great town of Indianapolis. But give our audience a little bit of background about yourself.
Absolutely. So I am a marketing executive, been working with B2B software startups for the last 15 years. That's been my primary focus, helping B2B software startups scale and get to big 9-figure exits.
Yes. And I am also a client.
Oh, yes.
Or what do you do? What's that hair loss commercial?
I'm not only a member.
I'm not only a member, I'm also a client.
I'm not only the owner, I'm a client. Yeah, that's right. The Hair Club for Men.
Tim's been working with Crafted, our agency, for a while now, and helped us put on the vibe coding competition at Rally. He's been helping us think through a lot of our stuff, and so we hang out all the time. And that's one of the impetus for this. But one of the things that got brought up, and one of the reasons why Tim came on the show, was we were talking about marketing in the world of AI, where people aren't just discovering products through Google. They're actually discovering products through LLMs, through the interfaces with ChatGPT. And I wanted to just start off with maybe just talking about, some of the fundamental things that we're seeing changing. I know that, from my experience, I'm interacting with Google less, I would say.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't even know the last time. When's the last time you Googled something?
So I do use Google, but only when I actually want it to have Gemini give me an answer. Right? I don't really care about the search results.
Are you in AI mode?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. My mom called me the other day and she said, and somebody had demoed ChatGPT to her and she lost her mind. But she was talking about Google and she was like, I'm not even in AI mode, but they just give me the answer. Oh, and I was like, that's the AI summaries.
Okay.
Mom.
Yeah. I don't think there is. I think everybody's going to be optioned in now for it. But so for me, I don't use it for search anymore. I use it to get answers. But I do use ChatGPT for a lot of it. So I would assume you're going to see the same thing.
And we know that Google's still driving traffic, but it's driving less and less of traffic. And, I guess let's just, from a marketer's perspective, what are you seeing in terms of product discovery, page discovery, funnels, when it comes to a world where people aren't always just going to Google to find what they want?
It's super weird. It is super weird because there's this known playbook for 15 years, worked the exact same from an SEO perspective, different variations of it, different little things would change, ranking factors would be dialed up and dialed back. They'd penalize you for specific things, but the playbook was all relatively the same. And AI has introduced a new wrinkle that's super challenging for marketers because it forces us to be a lot more honest. No. Sam Altman's going to make an honest man out of me yet. I swear to God. Right. So I've been doing this a lot I've got a few different clients that have made their money historically via paid and organic search. And that's a super common inbound flywheel. They have started to see volume drop off. So we're doing a lot of work on how do we get you ranking on AI engines? How do we make it so that ChatGPT recommends you when somebody asks for a solution in your space? And I've learned a lot through this process. But what's bizarre about it is a lot of the tactics and playbooks that we would have run historically of, all right, you don't really show up for this thing. We're going to release a lot of content. We're going to get a lot of backlinks that show you're authoritative in this area. They don't work nearly as well because ChatGPT, for example, has a much broader context set that they're drawing from. And so what ends up happening is when somebody goes to ChatGPT and asks for a solution, ChatGPT has an immense amount of context as to who that person is and what it is specifically they're looking for. And they're able to filter out based off of reviews, Reddit posts, social media. Like they do a lot of pulling from Reddit posts, a lot of pulling from Google reviews to identify like, hey, listen, what real users say is this is bad at this, bad at this, bad at this. So me going out and trying to get content on whatever feature set they're weak in to have them rank towards the top when somebody searches for solutions in that space. That's historically what you would have done.
Right.
Because then somebody will search for this, they'll find this, they'll end up on this page, we'll get them into our funnel. That doesn't work anymore because ChatGPT looks straight through that and says, no, the real reviews from real users are showing this. So you have to end around, if you actually want to try to solve that problem, you have to end around the traditional content pathways and you have to go straight to users and do like review solicitation campaigns around specific feature sets that you know people are searching for that you want to rank more effectively for. And the impact of this, I do a lot of auditing of people what I'll go through and do is search for a solution 20, 30, 50 times on ChatGPT using a bunch of different types of prompts to try to see what does it recommend when and where are we showing up, where are we not showing up. The super bizarre thing about the results I end up seeing, historically, organic search was a very big winner-take-all for the top 5 players. And so the people who are the super big enterprise players or the smaller players who are really elite at SEO, those would be the people, top 5 results. They would win the lion's share of what people were looking for. Because ChatGPT is so context dependent, what ends up happening is a lot of smaller players end up bubbling to the surface because they're really good at this one specific niche part of what they're looking for.
Let me ask you something real quick. To that point, so with Wicked Form, right, which was my custom background generation thing, there's a couple players in the field. There's not many, and so there's not a whole lot of historical context for any of this. I'm getting traffic and orders from ChatGPT.
Yep.
Like I'm not getting it from Google. I don't even rank on Google.
Yeah.
Like again, this thing's 6 months old or whatever. Where Waldrop and a couple of the other competitors that are out there, they're all over the Google. They're advertising. They're doing this, but I'm just getting natural. And I set up the LLMs.txt, but I'm kind of curious of like.
Hold on. So this is a learning point for anyone who needs to learn or hear what Brandon just said. So there used to be a robots.txt file you would stick on the root of your site, and it's a file that basically said, hey, search engines, here's where to look, here's where not to look.
Right.
An LLMs.txt file is another protocol that they've added that does what?
So but basically you're just saying, hey, here's everything that you need to know about my business. And so for mine's dynamically generated. It's a route that gets called, and that call it'll go and it'll load up pricing. It's going to load up everything that exists about my company that I basically want. It's one pager that just says, here's everything it is, and then the LLMs. And that's the only thing that I can attribute because I haven't done anything else.
Right.
Right. And so I'm kind of curious of like, how does this impact both because like as you were saying, the big players that are out there, they historically had just the juice. And now that you have an opportunity of these younger players to come in and to grab that, like now, is that what we're kind of saying?
Yes.
Is that okay?
And here's what's super interesting about that. I don't know the specifics about your tool,
Sure.
but here's what I'd be willing to bet. I'd be willing to bet that if you ask the users that are coming in off of LLMs, if you ask them for their prompt, what you would find is they're looking for one specific feature that other
How
players
did you prompt us?
Yeah.
Is that going to be a new thing? Like, how did you find us?
I'm not joking. If I personally was on a call with a user that I knew found me, I would ask them, could you please copy and paste
your prompt?
The prompt. I would like to see it.
I would pay you for that prompt.
Yeah, I seriously would, because I think you can learn a lot. But what wouldn't surprise me at all is if in their prompt, they're like, I have this one specific thing I'm looking for. I need something that does this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because historically, when you think about what the search behavior was on Google, it is, I am looking for a form provider. I need form. I'm searching for a 3 to 5 word phrase, and it's who's going to show up for that 3 to 5 word phrase.
Yeah.
And that person may or may not actually fit what I'm looking for. Like,
so one thing you can do is if you prompt ChatGPT and it starts searching the web, you can filter out the network requests and you can actually see what it's prompting to its own searching mechanism.
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't think
And
I've
you
ever
can actually use that as a way.
And so here's what people do with that. What people do with that is they take that information and then they create a giant pillar page with an FAQ section. And then they take the actual question. So remember I was talking about auditing like ChatGPT. What I'll do is I'll ask and I'll do, several different prompts and with as many different users as I can think of. This is especially a great use case for like personas as well. So doing like, hey, these are our top 3 customer personas. All right, cool. I'm going to generate 5 prompts for each of these 3 personas. That's going to be 15 prompts. I'm then going to go and I'm going to extract all of those search queries. I'm going to turn each one into its own FAQ. And then all of those FAQs will be listed on this one product page that is all centered on this one thing.
So I have FAQ, FAQU.app because of this. I think that the FAQ becomes the most important fucking piece that you could have. And what you just described is a great way of doing it. You let the LLM basically determine. So we used to do this back in the day. What you would do before Google was really smart about it is you could see what a search term somebody landed on your website, right? You saved that search term and then you just played it back in the home at the bottom in a tag cloud, be like, here's common searches. And whatever they came in, you saved that and you clicked it and you did a search on yours. And Google just got into this loop and would just start sending you all this tracking. It's kind of a similar thing. Let the AI determine your FAQ and that's going to help them basically be able to leak their corpus.
So take a quick step back. So we talked about we got to be honest with Sam Altman, but we do have 2 methods right now that we've talked about, these new pillar pages, and I have a follow-up question to that, and the LLMs.txt. I mean, the LLMs.txt is a pointer to the new world where we live in protocols with AI versus it just scanning websites and things like that. It actually like having a methodology to interact with digital assets. But let's talk more about the pillar page. So we've had pillar pages have been around forever, right? What are the differences between what you would do, 4 years ago and what you might do now to be more attractive to AI?
Can you before you get into that, give me a breakdown of what a pillar page is?
Yeah, so I'll give you what sort of the traditional pillar page world used to be like, and then how it's evolved. So historically, let's say the phrase people use is Cadillac keywords. Let's say there are 5 Cadillac keywords for your business that you say, these are the things that when people end up on my website because they're searching for this, they are here to buy. They're a great fit. I know that they're going to come in. I know they're going to convert. All right, we have these 5 Cadillac keywords. What we're going to do is we're going to create a dedicated page on our website that is super long, super big, super keyword rich for each one of those. And those Cadillac keywords are, again, 2, 3, 5 word phrases. So it's not like we're talking about something that's super deep, long tail. These are super short tail keywords. And historically it would be like, you've got this one page, you drive all of your backlinks to that around this, you do backlink campaigns to this pillar page to build its authority. And then on those 5 keywords, your page is going to show up because again, everything's super keyword based.
Right.
And while there are a lot of principles of the old SEO world that are still true today, what we're seeing now is this idea of contextual relevance is so much more important. That now what I'm seeing is basically if you had 5 Cadillac keywords historically, so let's say each one of these is related to a product feature. You now need to have each one of those product feature pages broken down by sub-vertical and by size. So that might multiply the number of pages that you have by 10 that you need to develop. I've got one client in particular where it's like, oh no, we need to literally take everything that you've done and now we need to replicate this content but through the lens of SMB, because you built it all for this one size, and you are not being recommended to people who are looking for something for a 100-person company, specifically because ChatGPT thinks you're for larger or thinks you're for smaller, right? So now we need to say you are also for this, right? And so it's this level of contextual dependency. It's like super long tail stuff But basically, you need to rewrite over and over and over again these pillar pages to show as many variations as possible. Yes, we work for this, we work for this, we work for this, we work for this size, we work for this sub-vertical, we work for this use case. You need to be able to show that over and over and over and over again. Otherwise, what ends up happening is, even if you do work for that, what ends up happening is ChatGPT goes and runs that web search and says, oh, well, I was looking specifically for SMB and I did not find it on your website. So because I did not find it on your website, you are not included in the AI summary now. But
because it thought it was something else.
But what's weird is the types of people that will start showing up. And one of the things that surprised me the most about this is the number of times I sit down with a client and I'm like, so this company was recommended, 5 times across these 20 queries. And they're like, I've never heard of that company before. This has never happened to me in my career. When I've done search and paid, when you're doing search and paid, you go and you're like, hey, this competitor showing up this amount, this competitor showing up this amount. Usually it's, the top 10 competitors. They're all in that top 10. They're all people that you sit down with the CEO and the CEO is like, oh yeah, that company, right? They all know who those players are. What's funny is all of a sudden these smaller players are starting to bubble up that you've never heard of. It's like somebody vibe codes an app in a weekend and is like, I am a CRM for realtors that sell specifically, this type of whatever, blah, blah, blah. Some super long tail thing. Somebody vibe codes it in a weekend, puts up a landing page, and then ChatGPT is like, oh, well, when somebody searches for that exact thing, I know that is what I need to deliver. And so then what happens is I'll sit down with a CEO of a company that's doing a couple million a year in revenue and be like, oh, so, half of the queries that I did, this company popped up and they're like, I've literally never heard of that company. That company was incorporated 6 months ago.
Well, it sounds like even though some of the overall signals might be more realistic in terms of, you have to have reviews and this and that. It seems like there are some small tactics that businesses can take to be more noticed by an LLM, like the LLM.txt, the really specific pillar pages that you can do to maybe get out ahead of your competition. Because I think it's market specific, but even where we live, I still think that AI is this magical illusion to most people, and they're not taking the steps that leverage the technology in the way to get, because what did it used to be, right? You'd be like, oh, okay, we're an SEO company and we're literally, it's not black hat, but it's we are going to figure out a way for you to skip the line. Right. And it sounds like there are some things that you can do to get ahead.
So I think
in this race.
What's interesting is what we definitely see from a technical implementation side is that we watched Google for the longest time not do anything on the client side, right? Like when Google was doing its processing,
that was the bane of my existence.
Right. You had to have it on the server. And if you're just doing Next and just raw dogging like an SPA, it was never going to be seen by Google. Then eventually Google's bots started getting better to be able to process the JavaScript, and maybe it waited long enough for you to get your stuff in there and whatnot. We're going to see the same things with all of these bots that are coming from OpenAI. They're going to first just start with the raw dogging of the HTML. And so it probably goes back to a lot of the same practices where it's like
going back in time.
It kind of is.
Yeah. So you got to get all your clients on the LLMs.txt.
There's a really interesting use case that I saw in Grok that was, there's this one guy who popped up on my Twitter feed. It's still Twitter to me. It always will be. This guy popped up on my feed and I noticed he posts the same screenshot 4 or 5 times a day. And it's just he posts the same screenshot. He's a local SEO guy. And it's a screenshot that sort of shows a local SEO dashboard that you would look at if you were looking for your local search results as a business owner. And he posts the same screenshot 5 times a day. And every time he posts it, he has a different text that accompanies it. And the text always starts really, really similar. It always starts with, if I owned a, and then, so for example, the first time I noticed it was if I owned a tree trimming business in Austin, Texas, and my business went to 0 tomorrow and I needed to increase my revenue, here is exactly what I would do. And then he would do a super long form post walking through his exact methodology and exactly what he'd do. It happens to be pretty self-serving, talking about the stuff.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. But it's his exact methodology of exactly what he would do if he owned a tree trimming business in Austin, Texas that went to 0, right? And then 2 hours later, if I owned a poop scooping business in Seattle, Washington, and my business went to zero tomorrow, here is exactly what I'd do. Then 2 hours later, if I owned a window washing business in Albuquerque, New Mexico, it's like.
Well, I have two reactions to that. One, X is let's not underestimate everybody who builds this stuff like us. Yeah. We use a tool. Okay. We might use Claude. Mm-hmm. We might use ChatGPT. The people that are buying things are not necessarily using the same stuff you're using. Yep. Like Grok to me is like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Right. Like I see people mentioning it on Twitter and asking for explanation. Those are the people that are spending money.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and that post that style of post that he's talking about, they're actually trying to figure out their algorithm.
Yeah.
Right. And then people are getting like, oh,
has he figured it out?
So I don't know because I don't know his business,
but he's local?
Well, he's not local to here. He is a local SEO guy.
He
does local.
You need to interview this dude.
I do. I should reach out to him.
You should totally.
What's happening though is that X is realizing, I've seen it in real time because there's a marketing account that blew up and got a bunch of followers and grew a business. And they do the same thing. Yep. They said, if I have X and I had no money, this is what I would do. And I've realized it's to Hickle's point, it's not just to get visibility on X, it's to get visibility elsewhere too.
Well, and my
it's
belief
to get visibility
here,
in the LLMs.
Yes. And my belief here, I think there's the Grok specific side of this and the non-Grok side of this, right? The Grok specific side of this, to your earlier point about sort of what's the next step, is my guess is this is going to get super popular for 12 months. And then there's going to be some crackdown where they're going to say, okay, we're seeing a bunch of low quality stuff flood this space that's like polluting our Grok's LLM. And so now we're going to introduce some sort of weighting system. We're going to say, oh, well, we're only going to prioritize based off of how many likes you got, how many retweets, how many bookmarks you got. Mm-hmm. And we're going to use, so they're going to reinvent PageRank. They're going to reinvent PageRank. And that's going to become the next thing, which means then what you need to do is then you create a bot army to go upvote your stuff. Totally. And it's like, it's going to be a classic arms race where it's like, all right, they're going to just reintroduce PageRank and then we're going to come back in and we're going to say, okay, if that's the game, this is how we're going to game it.
Sure.
And then they'll attach account history to the likes and say, all right, they're just going to do the PageRank thing. Right. Like I can tell you the next 5 years of how this is going to go because it's the same.
We've watched this movie before,
but it's an inevitability, and I think that all marketers, especially digital marketers, need to understand that your customer is going to ChatGPT to type the same exact shit.
Yes,
that they would have into Google.
Well, but that's not exactly true though, because they're not typing the exact same shit into Google as they were in ChatGPT, right? In ChatGPT, they're sitting here and they're typing out 2 paragraphs, or they're having a conversation and saying,
and then get to the point of what they were looking for.
They might not. Yes, that's a good point. They might not be typing the same thing, but they're trying to find the same sort of answer, but they expect a more contextualized, personalized result.
But whether you are on Grok or whether it's on your blog or whether it's on Reddit posts that you're posting, like whatever the channel is that you are choosing to distribute this actually doesn't matter. I think the principle of that specific example remains true, which is like you need to explicitly say over and over and over again, we are for this and this and this and this and this and this and this. You need a wall of content.
And it's just ad nauseum, just over and over and over again.
Because you need to be able to communicate to these LLMs every single one of these contexts that you're going to get. Because they are not looking for just like broad 2-3 word phrases. Right. Say, what's the best CRM for small businesses?
They're looking at a high dimension questions and answers.
What is the most effective CRM under $20 a month for individual proprietor businesses in this area that have this need and this average sales length that also integrates with these 3 tools?
Right.
Like that is how ChatGPT is processing queries, whereas the way Google process queries is what is the best small business CRM?
Yeah.
But
Gemini, so Gemini is getting better. There's no doubt about it. Gemini is in terms of the questions and the answers, and Gemini is now going to be Siri. Siri is going to be Gemini.
Right. Well, they're not using the branding though.
No.
It's the same thing.
No.
They're just still calling it Siri.
Yeah.
There's one more aspect of this I think we should talk about. OpenAI, year or two ago, signs a deal with Reddit. A lot of the content that's being created on the internet right now is being created inside of that platform. What are and Reddit is also a community. You can't just go into a subreddit and just start posting random shit. You could get kicked out. Like I've gotten kicked out of something, for self-promotion. But like, we know a lot of we know LLMs are thirsty for content, about as thirsty as Brandon is on a Thursday night. But like, is there anything with like going on in that space? Because we know that's a place where stuff's getting created and getting consumed.
The benefit of Reddit is from a sourcing perspective, it is maybe the most powerful place you can be for LLMs. The downside of Reddit is you have to be willing to commit to the slow roll, right? Like, and most people are not willing to do that in the same way. Like, because with Reddit, you have to be willing to commit to, I'm going to integrate myself in these 10 relevant subreddits. I'm going to post valuable content and I am not going to promote for months. And I am going to have to go so long before I ever even mention what I do.
So when do they finally promote? Like when they're like exalted on high by the community?
Pretty much.
So the motion I have seen work is DMing. So what you do is you have to embed yourself in these communities. You post like every single day. You are commenting on every relevant post, sharing as much value as you can, and you are doing value add posts that you're posting on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as well. So you might post in every single one of these 5 subreddits, twice a week, and you are commenting on every single thing, and you're being super positive, super uplifting. And the thing that I have seen work is if you posit solutions that beg questions, right? So, if you're looking to solve this problem, you should do this. Well, wait, how would I do that? Then you DM them and say, hey, Sean, listen, I'm not going to post this publicly because I have a software company that does this and like I don't want to be banned for promotion, but I can show you exactly how this works. So I have a software that does this, and you can sign up for a demo here.
That happened to me when I was promoting the vibe coding competition.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, when I kept saying, oh, blah, 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 this, and then I started getting the DMs from people like, hey, can you try my vibe coding product? And I'm like, I never got a DM on here. I'm not that popular.
But even then, it's like you Reddit is not going to be a source of inbound traffic or inbound referral. Like that's just not what Reddit is there for. What Reddit is there for is authority on the LLMs.
Right. Like eventually you get recommended because of your authority on Reddit.
Yes. And then the other thing that I always talk to people about is like, people talk about the idea of category creation, and like, I would say 9 out of 10 people that talk about category creation are full of shit.
I was going to say snake oil, but
so let me throw out though that the one area that, because Reddit is doing the relationships with these LLMs, that you have the opportunity to go create your own subreddit.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Like I just set up a Nomi subreddit.
Oh, that's smart.
And
for your product.
Yeah, for the product. And I've now
humble
I've had that
brag.
for
I have a product that has enough users to actually have its own subreddit.
No. Literally, like I've got probably 15 subreddits I've created that have no members, right? And then one of them was the social work jobs. I created this one for this job board I was building. I just created social work jobs.
Oh, yeah, and that thing went crazy.
And it's like the #1 subreddit for social work jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, so Brandon created Nomi, which is awesome. And that is a product that you've had for how long?
15 years, almost 14, 15 years, something like that.
And I think this actually is a good segue because I wanted to ask a little bit about something that Tim and I were talking about in our meeting earlier today, which is like intents and protocols. So one of the things that's going on with AI, and I think it's really, really relevant to what we're talking about with SEO. We talked about LLM.txt. Okay, a protocol for you to tell an LLM what's on your website. Okay, it sounds like it's really basic. You just basically put whatever you want in there.
Exactly. You could like just like a sitemaps almost.
It's a sitemap.
Right.
So maybe it'll get more formalized over time, and it'll.
No, I don't think it will. That's the crazy part about the AI. It's just this like it's like.
But there are more formal processes that you need to communicate from system A to system B. The first thing that we saw was from Anthropic was the model context protocol.
Right.
Okay, that's a protocol for disparate systems to be able to communicate with each other. This, over the last 2 weeks, we've seen the Universal E-commerce Protocol released by Google. And that is their answer to try to finally figure out how to connect people to products and have those products be discoverable, purchasable. And it highlights a gap in AI that I'm not sure everyone fully understands. And it's the concept of schema. It's the concept of transaction. It's like when you go to the ATM, you don't just say, hey, Fifth Third, can you get some money? And you're at Key Bank, right? You're like, okay, go get some money from Fifth Third. Their database isn't the same.
Right.
They don't have the same table structure, right? But you go and you create an EDI transaction. And EDI is a protocol for creating a request to get money out of a bank account. Well, Google has the same problem with Shopify and Etsy and all these providers. They're like, we need to make money off this fucking thing that we're burning the entire earth with, right? Like we've rerouted water from the Hoover Dam and no one's paying us.
Dude, we have to have an ROI, guys.
We have to have an ROI. And guess what? As usual, joke's on you. You're the product, right? So what's going to happen is they need advertising dollars. And in order for them to advertise products on LLMs, they need to be able to buy them inside inside that experience.
Okay, so this is where I think they might be making a bad play.
Okay.
Because before, in the old world, before we had ad tracking, especially in direct mail, right? You didn't actually want to have verifiable numbers because you were selling this magical thing. And then the moment that people started coming in and being like, oh, and that's what we did for my first product, was actually giving you like real numbers for direct mail conversion. And all of our competitors were like, you can't do that. And we're like, oh yeah, we're doing it. But we find out why is because the conversion rates just weren't there.
To your point, I mean, even still, how many marketers are still trying to figure out, God, we don't have really good lead attribution.
Lead attribution is so broken right now. Like lead attribution has gotten worse and worse and worse for like 5 years in a row.
Define lead attribution for those.
Our ability to determine exactly where a lead that came into our CRM came from, right? If you are running paid ads, then lead attribution is very, very clean. But the vast majority of things that come in are not coming in off of paid ads. And what we're seeing increasingly is more and more things are falling into what Google or HubSpot or Salesforce or wherever you're using to track this, we'll just call direct traffic, which is their way of saying, we got no fucking
We
idea.
have no idea.
We have no fucking idea. Right. And I'm like, all right, so you want me to believe that this person went into their address bar and typed in our URL and went directly to our URL and requested a demo of our software completely unprompted. I do not believe you. Yeah. And I feel like I know how smart you are and there's something that you're not telling me. Like I believe that there's information that you have that I do not right now. And it's just gotten continually worse. And part of that is privacy. Like part of that is legitimate increases in privacy.
Apple basically being like, you know what? Fuck off.
Well, this is, and I would kind of disagree with you because I feel like Instagram figured this out. I mean, dude, I just buy shit off Instagram all the time.
So I've never bought anything.
And they've got to have attribution on all that.
Oh yeah, take that. Well, but that's kind of what he's saying is that it ties into Facebook's ad system. When you buy something on Instagram, that's just part of it. So yeah, it absolutely does come in.
Don't you think they're kind of ahead?
I don't. So I know that I buy off TikTok like a stupid amount. Vivor is now like my cheap brand that I buy off of things.
Well,
I buy shit off of TikTok all the time. Well, yeah, it's bad.
You're a spy.
Well, there's a reason why all of these platforms are pushing into a shopping product, and it's because they do not want you like. There's no reason why they couldn't have you just do traditional ads where you post the ad and then people click to your website.
They don't want you to leave.
They don't want you to leave.
Yeah, just buy it right here.
Buy it right here.
And then go to the next thing and buy the next thing and buy the next thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what they want. They want to be in control of it. And they want to be in a position where it's rent-seeking behavior. They want to be in a position where they control the rent and I cannot get people from Facebook Marketplace or wherever I'm buying things from. I, as the marketer, can't get them on my email list. I, as the marketer, can't get them in something that I own.
Right.
I have to go to Facebook and pay the piper every single time I want to sell another sweatshirt. That's what they want.
I think there's a shrinking of the pie on the B2B side, though, with them. Like, can you really, okay, let's say that no one's buying, paid ads to get to my SaaS product anymore because it's not working. I mean, maybe it is. Is it working?
No.
Okay, so it's not working. Now I buy LLM ads. So I'm searching for service management field software that helps people in San Antonio, Texas, plumbers.
God.
Right? It goes, well, we got the plumber for you. God. Or does it just remarket to them on YouTube for the rest of their, week? I don't know.
Well, see, that's what, if I were, as a marketer, what I would rather buy is the intent data. I would rather buy that than placement, personally. Because we can do that. And I know that ChatGPT, it looks like OpenAI is starting to tee this up, where they're starting to open the door for what if we did have an ads product? And it's like,
God, that
you're going to be watching videos and getting recommendations.
God, you're gonna have to sit there and wait for 15 seconds for the golf
Hickle's
game
point,
to play.
Maybe we're thinking about it archaically. Like, they already know everything about you. Mm-hmm. So they're just going to present you with ads for 35, 40 seconds when you open up the chat
that's the thing.
window.
What, do you know it's an ad? Is the piece that
that's what you're right. Because native ads.
Because I just inject into the context. I'm just, hey, they're asking about this. Now just make sure that we just align them a little bit more towards this, right?
Well, that's where I've seen for it, anytime you are in a hyper commoditized space, things like paid search works really well. So if you're in a space where it's like somebody is searching for a specific thing and they're going to buy it immediately because they know they need it, paid search works really, really well for that, because I know I need a thing. I'm looking for the thing. I will buy the thing. I might click on the ad instead of the first organic search result on accident. No one is clicking on the ad on purpose. But once I end up on the website, I might buy. So organic tends to work well in hyper direct response type ways. But I have seen better results for the vast majority of products that are not immediate, I need to buy this right now products.
Sure.
The better information for me to have is not paying to put myself on the top of search results. I would rather use, in YouTube, what I can do is I can target people based on their search activity for video ads.
Yeah.
And that's a much more effective play, because then I can seed into their mind
where you're right now.
So that's more the traditional, and that does make more sense.
Yeah.
So it's not but I do think there'll be native ads in your LLM responses.
If I'm having a conversation with ChatGPT and I'm like, you know what, I really want to talk about this new Prelude that's out, and I get convinced that
there's a new Prelude.
There's a new Prelude, and it's overpriced, and Honda shit the bed on this thing. It's like 48,000.
Every car's 48,000.
It's so bad. But it's wrong. They really screwed up. It's basically a Civic. Doesn't really matter anyway. But if you have a conversation with
you had a Prelude at Carmel, didn't you?
No. My mom had a Prelude though.
That was a great car.
But the new one design's really, really good. But that being said, if you have a conversation
I need to know more
with ChatGPT about this, and you get convinced that the Prelude's the car you want, and then you're like, well, where can I buy one in Indianapolis? It's like, well, you can actually go to Tom Wood Honda or Penske Honda, and Penske Honda has one for $48,000. I'm like, oh shit! And I was like, who's a salesperson at Penske Honda? And it's like, you can talk to Bob Barker or whatever. Here's his number, and then all of a sudden, ChatGPT did do the damn work, and Penske Honda should be appreciative that they did. So there has to be some way that we can kind of merge these together. That's hopefully just not as dirty as what advertising can tend to get to.
Yeah.
So I think that the conclusion of this is that the buyer's journey is going to kind of start and end inside the LLM.
In the chat. Oh, UI too. You're going to get now not only shopping, but how do you basically take JSON payloads and turn them into UIs on the fly, so you have this dynamic UI for all this wild shit that we don't even know what people are talking about.
Well, we are seeing buying cycles accelerate a lot because of LLMs, because all of a sudden something that I would have had to go through a couple demos and make sure, does this check these boxes? It's the number of people who show up in a B2B context ready to, no, I don't even need a demo. Needs assessment. What do you mean needs assessment? Like we already did that.
Oh my God. I didn't think about that because cars, you did that with cars too.
Yeah.
Like people started, when the internet came up, people started showing up like knowing more about cars than the dealers
It's
did.
the same thing.
Yes.
It's the Kelly Blue Book now.
Right.
Of like, no, people are just showing up and it's like,
oh
no,
shit.
I have already done all of this work that, ChatGPT
LLM sold me.
told me that, I compared 5 different options based on what they recommended me. I asked them to do all the work. Right. They told me this is best for my context for this reason.
Yeah.
And that's, again, why I feel like this is such an important thing for businesses to figure out now, because we're going to enter a world in the next 3 years where you start to see more and more people that the sale is done by ChatGPT. You don't need a sales team. You don't need, you literally, the sale is done by the time they show up on your website. They're already ready to buy. They sold themselves through the process of talking to ChatGPT.
Right. Tim, how can people get a hold of you? Because it sounds like people don't need a whole sales team now. They need a Tim.
So best way to get a hold of me is on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Tim Hickle. There are only like a couple of us. There's one in Iowa. He has worse SEO than me. So I'm the first one that shows up. So you can find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome.
The easiest way to get a hold of me.
Well, and you might see Tim at a IU football or basketball game near you.
Brother, I wish I was going to be there in Miami.
Right.
Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers.
The Hoosiers are playing for the national championship.
I'm actually
in what sport, Brandon?
In football, baby.
All right, you got it.
I've been paying attention to it. I've been super impressed. Like it's anytime there's a true underdog story. Even like I'm not a sports guy much. Like in one-on-ones, like we've talked about, but football and underdog teams, those things are absolute winners. So this has just been a fucking magical story.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say about IU is obviously you got to go to Cignetti.
Yep.
And there's this thing. He's like, well, in my business, average is good for most people, right? But he's like, in this business, you have to be great, and here's the standard. And that's the one thing I'm like, wow. He's like, he defines the standard, and everything is built off the standard. And he says a lot of really cool things under that. But it's like, that is a good way to live. It's like, have you defined your standard?
Right.
What is your standard? And it's that word, you don't hear it as much.
No, that's a good. Yeah.
I've got a client who's a big IU football fan. And the phrase he used was this is a situation agnostic playbook for life. Like if you look at the way Kurt Cignetti approaches, and he talks a lot about 6 seconds of play, one play at a time. Every play has a life and a history of its own.
Yeah, not affected by success or failure.
Yeah. And it truly is like is a thing that it's a mantra that I've taken. It's one meeting at a time. 30 minutes a meeting. Every meeting has a life and a history of its own. Fast, physical, relentless.
I've used that with my dad in a lot of different ways and my kids. In sports, a lot of people are very affected by failure, like inside the game. The kids start hanging their heads, and it's good to have inspirational leaders. And if he does complete this, I think that there will be a disappointment if they don't get all the way here.
Yeah.
But if he does complete. With his team, with everything he's created, if he does complete the national championship for Indiana University in football, it will be the greatest sports story in the history of America.
It'll be Hoosiers all over. It'll be the modern day.
The beginning of this season, they were the losingest program in the history of the sport. Northwestern thankfully took the mantle over halfway through the season this year, but we started the season as the losingest team in the history of the sport. And if we beat Miami by 19 points on Monday, we will have the largest average margin of victory of any team in the college football playoff history. And so we will basically go from being the worst program in the history of the sport to arguably one of the best teams in the history of the sport in a 2-year turnaround with a bunch of 3-star athletes, people who are undersized, people who are overlooked, outcasts.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is. It's inspiring, and so much of it comes back to discipline, execution, focus, getting everyone aligned, getting everyone operating on the same page.
And he doesn't do it by working his people and his team 70 hours a week.
Right.
They're in there for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 1 hour 45, and it's process driven. It's delivery. Yeah, it's organized. Right. And if you're running a company, if you're running something, it is something to be said about when the days you show up to work and you're like, shit, And the days you show up like boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, right? And like he's literally on the spectrum when it comes to that type of stuff. They are organized. They have a process, and there's a lot to be learned in business. So go Hoosiers.
Yep. Real quick.
Go for it.
So I want to give you an opportunity to promote anything to promote, and if you have anything to promote, do it right now.
Thank you. I have nothing to promote.
Nothing to promote,
brother.
Promote something.
Okay, all right.
Promote something. Pick something. You can pick anything. It could be your own selfish thing. It could be a client that you're working on. It could be a website that you've just found that you love. You have an opportunity to promote whatever you want to promote.
Brother, I wasn't ready for that.
I know.
I wasn't ready for that one. All right. Well, you know what? I want to talk to you about Crafted. They're an excellent. They're a website and product dev studio that does just world-class work. We're working on an amazing new website right now. Hopefully, by the time this is out, we're going to have a new website to show you. It's going to look gorgeous. It's going to tell you everything.
Is there going to be a new Crafted website?
There's going to be a new
Tim
Crafted
Hickle's
website.
been helping us with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to give you the opportunity because we're talking about sports, but you should be promoting Crafted MBA.
CraftedMBA.com is a really cool website, and Jacob is producing back here. It's a lot to do with that. It's a membership platform, but it's also just a hugely fun, deep analytics MBA website. We've been working on it for years. And I saw we get millions of visitors to this website.
No shit.
I was on the Google Analytics this morning, and I was just building some dashboard thing for Claude Code just to see how fast it could build.
A million?
It gets millions
What
of visitors. It's the amount of people that visit this website is unbelievable.
Okay, would you please help them with some ads so they can start just making some shit ton of money from this? Dude, if you have millions of visitors, fuck the membership prices. Just go and start setting up some ads on this.
Yeah,
Anyway, check it out.
It continues to grow. The community's great. What was the email you got the other day? It just said, I love this site. And that was all.
That's awesome.
And, there's games you can play. There's trivia.
CraftedMBA.
CraftedMBA.com. And Daniel Kavanaugh, who's my cousin, my first employee actually, built the website because he was sick of not being able to settle arguments with his friends about NBA.
That's beautiful.
So NBA Superfan built it. Let's check it out.
Beautiful.
Cool. Well, this has been the BigCheese Podcast. We'll see you guys soon.